Welcome back, Grade 8 Mathematicians. Today we're still dealing with common fractions, but we're looking at squares and cubes of fractions. I'm first going to start with an easy example. If you remember your laws of exponents, the third law we learned was when raising a fraction to a further power, both the numerator and the denominator must be raised to that power. So in other words, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to say 4, that would be to 1, okay, and I'm going to multiply. So this is going to be 2 to the 4 over, here we have an invisible 1 as well, 4 times 1 is 4. Write down the base and multiply the exponents. And 2 to the 4 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 twos are 4, 2s are 8, 2s are 16 over 3 to the 4. Well, it's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 3s are 9, 9 9s are 81. And you cannot simplify, so that is your answer. Right, we're just going to have a look at a little bit more complicated example. But if you just put your head down and do what the law tells you. Right, so when we raise a fraction to a further power, each of the exponents must be multiplied by 4. So we are going to multiply those two together, and we are going to multiply these two together. So we write down the base. 3 times 4 is 12 over 2 times 4 is 8, so 3 to the 8. And remember, when the numbers are so big, you can leave it in exponential form. Now, in your book, I know that you have got this example. And all it means is 2 to the 3 to the n would give you this simplification. A, m times n is mn over b, p times n is pn. I don't expect you to understand that right now, but as we get to algebra, it will make more sense. Right, let's have a look at these worked examples. So when I raise a power to a further power, or I'm going to square this, it means that it's going to be, here we have an invisible 1, so that is going to be 3. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. 2 squared. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, so that will be 5 squared, which equals 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. Always check that this is not an improper fraction and you can't simplify further. Let's look at the next one. All we've added here is a sign, a negative sign. Remember your laws of exponents that said when I raise a negative to an even power, my result is positive. And then I'm simply going to do what I did in the previous example. That will be 3 squared over 5 squared, which will equal 9 over 25. In this example, you had to square the negative as well. Let's look at the next example. Here you can see the negative is outside of the bracket, so it actually has nothing to do with what is going on here. So we remember our laws of exponents, and negative we just copy down because it's not part of the calculation. You're going to say that's 3 squared over 5 squared. So this will also equal negative 9 over 25. The only difference here is your negative sign. Let's have a look. Now we are cubing a mixed number. Remember, you cannot cube or square mixed numbers, so the first thing we're going to do is change it to an improper fraction. It is still going to be negative. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 will give us 5 quarters. 5 quarters cubed means that the negative sign is raised to an odd power and our result will be negative. So that will be negative 5 cubed over, invisible 1 here, 1 times 3 is 3, so it is 4 cubed. Right, and now we multiply out. It will still be negative 5 times 5 times 5. 3 5s multiplied together will give you 125 over 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4 is 64. This is an improper fraction, so we're going to change it to a mixed number. It will still be a negative number. 64 goes into 125 once. Remainder 61, so it will be 61 over 64. Make sure this is in its simplest form, which it is. Right, you're expected to explain the following to a group member. You're expected to explain how to square or cube a positive fraction. So that was example number 1. How to square or cube a positive fraction. How to square or cube a negative fraction. And how to square or cube a mixed number. Then I want you to test your understanding on page 45. Remember, you have to apply the rules of BODMAS. That's all for today. Thank you.